everybody, it's Titania Creates here. And in my last video, I got a ton of comments asking for a review of the Shuttle art markers. And that's what we are going to be doing or reviewing today. The 120 pack of the glorious Shuttle art markers. I have my ELO sketchbook here, so we can already kind of see what's going on inside here. I also have the swatches for the 120 pack, including the tiny colorless blender. First off the bat, let's talk about the price. So for the 121 pack, including the colorless blender, which is awesome, the markers come out to a total of $49.99. And with tax, that is $50. Now that is an incredible price, and to compare it, the Ohuhus is $64.99. So that is about a $14 difference, which is kind of a big difference, especially when you're comparing markers. So let's look at some things that we can do with these babies. For this, I'm going to be using my Ohuhu fine lining drawing pens. So as you can see, I have 3 little boxes. One is for a warm color blending test, a cool color blending test, and a warm color and a cool color blending test, which you might have known probably won't blend as well as the cool colors together and the warm colors. Now, let me just show this illustration that I did. It was a 3 marker challenge that I did with my friend. As you can see, this was also with the Shuttle art markers. I also have this drawing that I made of my OC Stella, as well as with the Shuttle art markers. Okay, I got all those markers cleaned up. So let's look at the marker appearance itself. Okay, so here is the actual marker. It has a triangular barrel. It has the color number as well as a color name. And it also has an extra color number as well. Here we have an actually really cute font on there saying art marker. Here is the bullet nib or the fine nib. It is actually much pointier than the Keeper marker. Keeper marker's bullet nib is very thick, so this just kind of compares how big the nib actually is. And here is the chisel nib. It looks like it gets finer on the top than it does on the bottom. It is a bit shorter and stubbier than, as you can see, this Keeper marker, which is a bit more longer. So that is the marker appearance itself, but how is the ink inside of it? Let's find out. I picked out my markers that I'm going to be using for the warm. I'm mainly using red tones for this blending. As you can see, the cap matches nowhere near the actual color, like nowhere. So if you're gonna get these markers, you need to swatch them. I don't like grabbing a marker and not knowing what the actual color will be like. Okay, so we have this here, but it looks like it did bleed through the back and on to the next page. And on to the next page. Okay, now we should just go ahead and pick our cool colors. Here's our markers for our cool colors. Every time you pull out the cap, the chisel nib actually comes out a little bit. I mean, I have no problem pushing it back in, but I don't know. I just feel like you shouldn't have to do that. As you can see, I just pulled the cap out and the nib went out. Now, all you have to do is push it back in, but like I said, I feel like I shouldn't have to do that. So here is our blending for the cool colors, which I think went much more smoothly than the blending on the warm colors. Tell me which one you like better. Let's blend some warm colors and some cool colors. Wow, I did such a good job coloring in the lines. Okay. Oh, that is not blending great. So here is the blending with the warm colors and the cool colors, and that did not go well at all. I honestly really like this one the best. That is a very smooth gradient, and it's very gorgeous. This one got a bit splotchy, and this one, we don't talk about it. So as you can see, the chisel nib is this big when you're doing it straight, and this big when you're doing it sideways. This has a very nice control, I feel like. Not much difference between when you're doing a side and the front tip. Now, let's see what happens when you layer it multiple times. I haven't tried this too much with it, So this is 1 layer of the marker, and this is 10 layers. That does result in bleeding, which could just be my sketchbook's fault. I don't know how else to test these out, but I think we should just create an illustration. Well, let's just get straight into that using only the Shuttle art markers. So the Shuttle art markers came with this marker pad, which is awesome. And now on to the drawing that I'm going to be using with my Shuttle art markers and the Shuttle art marker pad. Now, a long time ago on my channel, I did a video that I did my OC Abby into a drawing with waffles and Erica the Goober art style. So that's who I'm going to be drawing today. Not Erica the Goober or drawing with waffles. I'm going to be drawing my OC Abby. I feel like lavender has taken over my channel a little bit, so I'm going to switch it up and draw my OC Abby. Now, not to pick favorites or anything, but I feel like Lavender's character design is a bit more interesting, so that's why I draw her more. And I think a ton of you like Lavender more as well. Anyway, onto this drawing. I'm drawing Abby in this pose where, if you guys didn't know, she's very shy. So she has her hand up like she's waving to the distance. And I'm now working on the liner with my Ohu fine liners. I also went with a interesting design and put little bubbles in the background, which they aren't my favorite, but they'll do. Now, if you haven't told already, I'm not the best at doing reviews. I'm more good at doing verses, like my Callie art versus Ohuhu. So, if you're interested in seeing Keeper versus Shuttle art, definitely comment down below because I find that so much fun to do. I mean, I don't know what else to do in a review. I mean, I already kind of swatched them on a piece of paper. I'm not going to do it again because that took me so long to do. I did a blending test, so hopefully that helped a little bit, and I did an appearance. So hopefully this was enough information to see if you were going to buy these markers. Now, I lost this one marker when I spilled the whole thing, as you can see if you watched before. And it was the lightest skin tone marker, and I didn't have it, of course, so I had to use this very orangey skin color, which doesn't look terrible, but it doesn't look the best. Maybe she's just very tanned. I used this more natural brown, which I feel like kind of made the skin look a bit more natural. I feel like I always mess up on something, and then I try to fix it, and then I say I fixed it, but it's not really fixed. On a scale of 1 to 10 of how bad it looks, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I would rate it probably a 4. Lesson learned, I won't be dropping or being uncareful with my markers again. I also noticed that the markers, I didn't come with a lot of light pinks, so I had to use this red for the blush. There's not really an in-between. There's a very light pink that wouldn't show up on this orange, and there's this very, very dark pink, and that just would look like it was like a magenta. So I had to go with the red, and I blended that out a lot, and it looks decent. But now I'm working on the hair, which I did brown and with some lighter highlights. I also noticed that there's a lot of pastel colors, but there's also a ton of neon colors, which made me very happy because like I said in my past videos, I don't care too much for pastels, but lately I've been loving them, and I still love to switch it up sometimes with a bright neon color, so having it both in a same pack was awesome. Then I just did her striped shirt, and I shaded that with a gray, and I'm doing her pants, which I only really drew her in my Ohuhu markers, and now switching up with different markers because I got rid of my Ohuhu markers. The color of the pants don't really match what they look like with the Ohuhus, but I think it looks okay. This color is actually my favorite color out of the pack. It's like a dusty rose color, and I'm honestly obsessed with it. But now working on those bubbles in the background, I did the magenta color for her pants, like the pants, and I did the blue color for her stripes to make it more color cohesive, and I did some white highlights, which I probably have mentioned before is my favorite part because it really brings the piece together. And this is the finished illustration. As you can see, the Shuttle art markers doesn't have much of a variety of skin tones, so I had to end up with this very orangey skin tone. Now, overview on the markers. Here are the pros and here are the cons. Tell me if you guys would end up getting these markers, and always I'll have them linked in the description down below if you want to go ahead and check them out for yourselves on Amazon. Also, here is today's shout outs. If you want a shout out in one of my videos, make sure to hashtag Titania. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe down below with post notifications on to become one of my moons. I will see y'all in my next video. Bye! Mic drop.